But once you get your first one, then you're like, okay, I get it. Then you can get your second and your third and the fourth. And then by the time you know it, you're racking up points. Your credit cards are going to be spitting out points like an ATM, where you're going to be able to go anywhere around the world because you understand the points market, how you can accumulate points faster, how you can double or triple your points. Like, I have mastered the game, but it all starts with having some good credit.
So then that goes into my next piece. Now, out of the 41, right, you obviously have your favorites. If you could narrow it down to, let's say, your top 3, which one would you say would be like your top 3 favorite travel rewards credit cards?
My American Express Platinum. The only thing I don't like about that card is the annual fee. The annual fee, it's like $700 now. It's like $695 now. Yeah. It's really expensive. It is a hefty annual fee, but it's worth it if you're using it consistently. So if you're not going to use that card consistently, then don't get it, because you're going to end up spending to have just to have the card in your wallet, and it's not worth it. I don't care how many American Express cards you think you should have in your wallet. Having one that has a high annual fee that you're not using is just not worth it. It's just not good financial sense. So I would say that my Platinum is my favorite card, but that has an annual fee. The one that I like the most that doesn't have an annual fee is my Venture, my Capital One Venture One. My Capital One Venture One has a $0 annual fee. And I kind of rotate between the 3.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, and then my Chase Ink card. Okay. Those are great. Those are my favorite.
There you go. And you know what's crazy is that even out of all those cards, guys, these are names that we're very familiar with. AMEX seems to always be on someone's list, you know. So, and that, man, but like she said again, it doesn't make sense to have the card if you're not going to use it properly, because now it's almost like having a new bill if you're not maximizing it right. Exactly. So, absolutely. Okay, perfect. Now, here's the thing. Let's say someone wants to get a deeper dive into this, Jerry, right? And they say, you know what? Okay, this is my situation, and I really want to dive deeper into this. I know that you gave, pretty much the general steps, but what if somebody just wanted like, okay, step 1, step 2, step 3? You do have like a course for this, right? Or something like that?
Yes, so I do. I offer a course called Travel Hacker, and it's a part of several courses that we have in our Fly Credit University. And it really does teach you the step-by-step process from beginning to end on how to get luxurious vacations, first class upgrades, and some really good travel perks just by using credit cards. So every single thing is laid out in there so that you don't have to worry about how you're going to get money to pay for a vacation. It's crazy. I did a poll on my Facebook page once, and I asked people if money wasn't an option, if they, didn't have to pay for their dream vacation, where would they go? Where would you go, Galvin?
I saw that. What'd you say?
Where would you go?
Man, you know what? Dubai is still on my list. Dubai or, because, or there's this place, I think it's the Maldives, where it's like, I see the photo, it's like a drone photo, and it looks like it's like an island, but it looks like a tree or something like that. I'm like, man, I need to get out. So, yeah, Maldives for sure. Have you been there yet?
I have. Me and my fiance went there for his birthday 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. Wow, that's crazy how time flies. Yeah, I took him there for his birthday, and it was so amazing. Now, I'll be honest, y'all, the traveling there was a little brutal. It was about 24 hours of traveling. I'm grateful that I broke it up. So what I ended up doing was flying from Chicago to Dubai. And then we stayed there for the night. And then from Dubai, we had to go to a smaller island. And then from that smaller island to another smaller island. And from that island, we took a boat to our island. So it was a little weird, mainly because you're literally on a remote island. So that was a little creepy for me.
Yeah.
Because what if a hurricane or a tsunami comes? It's going to we're gone. Right. We're dead. No one's going to know we're here.
Yeah, that's real.
No cell phone service. So go there, if you just really want to get away. There were things to do. We saw baby sharks and stuff in the water. We had a nice, pretty bungalow where you could see the fishes in the floor. It was beautiful. It was really, really beautiful. One of the most beautiful places I've ever been. Actually, the most beautiful.
That's why that's
Hawaii
on the
was a
list.
second. But yeah, put those on your list. Like, make a list. I want y'all to literally, the people that's watching this, or you can put it in the comments below this video.
I do want to back up a little bit because
Okay.
we can't just go past that. You said you got 41 credit cards.
I have 41 credit cards, and truth be told, I didn't even know it until I counted it last week. But once you get your first one, then you're like, okay, I get it. Then you can get your second and your third and the fourth. And then by the time you know it, you're racking up points. Your credit cards are going to be spitting out points like an ATM, where you're going to be able to go anywhere around the world because you understand the points market, how you can accumulate points faster, how you can double or triple your points. Like, I have mastered the game, but it all starts with having some good credit. That's the
I know. Absolutely. And I'm so glad you touched on it, because so many times people will hear things like, okay, I want to take advantage of, getting points and, travel rewards and things of that sort. And they're trying to figure out why their current credit card ain't going to do that. And they find out the hard way. They got a secured card, or they got an entry-level credit card. So you touched on a very key point, and that's getting your credit in place.
I was on the channel last week live, and I talked about what's in my wallet. And I gave out a free ticket to our event and everything for the person that guessed the right amount of cards. And I counted it live, 41 credit cards between my personal and my business.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I have like a little over $700,000 in just credit cards.
Man. And then the next question, how do you manage all that?
That's a good question. I get that question all of the time.
Yeah.
So I use an app called Max Rewards. Max Rewards is everything. I don't get paid for saying this, by the way. Max Rewards is everything. It helps me with actually managing all of my credit cards, because you have credit cards that are used for different things. So like, for instance, one credit card that I use all of the time is like my Amazon Chase credit card, because first, you can get 5% back on everything that you spend on Amazon, and 5% back is a lot for a credit card. And you can use those points to buy free stuff on Amazon, or you used to be able to transfer them. I'm going to check to see if you can still transfer them. But because I have different Chase cards, I can combine my points. I can send points from one account to another. They're like cash in a way. They have value. So one of the main things that you really want to focus on is which card is used in the best circumstances or situation. One card that I use all the time while I'm traveling is my American Express Platinum card, because I get a lot of perks and benefits by booking trips using that card, free Uber rides, credit card. So I use different credit cards based on the circumstances that I'm using them in, and wherever I can maximize the points as much as possible. So, some credit cards are used because they have a really low interest rate. So I have some credit cards that have a 4% interest rate on them. I have 4 credit cards that have a 4% interest rate on them. And I use them only for balance transfers. That's the only thing I use them for, because it's going to save me money and interest. I don't use it for points because it doesn't have that benefit. But I do swipe the credit cards that do give me points or rewards. And then if I'm carrying a balance, I'll just transfer it to my lower interest rate card. And that's a pro tip right there. But that's what I would do. Man. But I use my credit cards to give me the most points and the most rewards whenever I'm out and about, or whenever I'm paying for something for my business. I put $30,000 a month just on my Chase Inc. credit card. And that Inc. credit card gives me, I think, 1.5% back on everything that I spend. So $30,000 times 1.5% gives you a nice chunk of change every single month. So when you think about the kind of spend that you're using, and you want to think about the categories that you're using them with, and then you want to determine, well, which credit card is going to give me the most amount of points or the most amount of rewards based on my spending behavior. So I organize them by balance transfer, points, cash back, and then, everyday spending type of cards. So I would say use Max Rewards because it's an amazing way to keep up with your points and your cash back.
Wow.
But as far as like managing all of your credit cards, categorize them. And I think that'll be definitely the smartest way to go about it.
Wow, categorize them. Make sure you guys write that down, guys. So maxrewards.com. We most definitely got to see if man, I mean, that's huge. Like, guys, that's huge. But hold up, let's take it back again. Because listen, I hope y'all writing this stuff down because that's how quick these gems can just get right past you. Let's go back to that pro tip you mentioned. Okay. When you said that now let's go back to that because I want to make sure I get that right. Not just for me, but for somebody I know. Okay.
Yeah.
So but yeah, if you would, so mention that again.
So, what I generally do if I want to rack up points fast and if I want to save on interest payments on my credit cards. Now, generally speaking, I usually pay off my credit cards in full every month to avoid interest. But in the event that I'll decide to carry a balance, I will use my points and my rewards credit cards for whatever expenses I have and whatever balance I'm going to carry it and transfer it over to another credit card that has a 4% interest rate or a 0% interest rate. So if I can get a balance transfer introductory offer of 0%, I'll just put it on that credit card so I don't pay any interest at all. So, categorize your credit cards, y'all.
Man, for real. and that's such a great idea. That's just a great way to actually do it because that's the next thing. People, they'll get these credit cards. And that leads me to my next question in a second. But they'll get these credit cards, they'll get these points, and they don't know what to do with them, or they miss out. And that's my next question is, do credit card like points and rewards, do they expire?
Oh, that's a good question. So some credit card companies that do, but generally, no, they don't expire. So you can usually use your points and rack them up over years. But some credit cards, they'll expire some of your points if you don't use them. But I don't have any of those cards in my wallet, mainly because I know that I'm an accumulator. That's who I am. Now, if I'm in the beginning stages of everything and I don't have as many credit cards, then I was using them a little more frequently, trading them in a lot more frequently, but now I'm more of an accumulator. So it depends on what strategy that you want to use when you're accumulating points. But overall, I think that if you want to accumulate points, I guess, faster and quicker, one, use the app. And then two, you want to make sure that you categorize everything. And then three, you want to use your credit cards in whatever circumstances you want to use them in. So, I mean, it really just depends on how you want to use it, y'all. But don't get too overwhelmed because I think that once you start having a lot of credit cards, it does make it a little challenging to manage them. So start small. Don't get credit cards that have annual fees on them, stuff like that. But get the credit cards that give you no annual fees, where you can transfer points, and where you can get your most spend for sure.
That's right. Absolutely, guys. And do what you guys can manage because you don't have to be, like Jerry is out here with 41 cards. But but that's the thing, because some of you guys probably can't fathom it. But there's a lot of you all who are slowly starting to build, that strong wallet. And you now have those options. But you guys got to maximize the rewards and points that these things actually have. So that's amazing that you have that in place. That's absolutely amazing.